What's going on, everybody? Welcome, friends, family, and Ma. If you're still hanging around, I usually do this in the morning. We have a quick watch party to happen. But because I was a story I still wanted to get to, there were so many things happening, and there's nowhere near for me a chance to get and prepare many of things before I jumped on at noon Eastern to originally do our watch party. So, any of you guys that can show up here, cool, good stuff. If you're watching, if you're gonna jump over to Indisputable with Rashad Ritchie, please do so. I'm not trying to step on his toes with that excellent show that's produced much more cleanly than what I'm going to do here now. But I had to go back to talking about one more thing. John did cover it in TDR that I was just coming off of, but there was a couple more examples of things that went down that told this story of the Jeffrey Epstein client list that suddenly this administration can't find. As a matter of fact, they're telling us that it just simply doesn't exist. And if you paid attention to anything that's been going on or the things that's been said from the people that were once podcasters and talkers that are now administration officials, I think you'll understand that it's a bunch of BS. Let's watch what they're saying is happening. Here's an Axios reporter talking about
Hey,
it.
we have an exclusive report. The DOJ says it has no evidence to suggest that disgraced financier, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list, blackmailed any of his clients, or that he was murdered. We have obtained a memo that was written by the DOJ and the FBI explaining these findings. Further, the FBI and the DOJ are releasing video footage from is from outside Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell the night he was killed. The FBI and the DOJ have released this footage in two different versions. One is in raw footage version. The other is in sort of enhanced version. They say that this footage, and it can be viewed yourself, that it shows that there was no one that murdered Jeffrey Epstein when he was killed in 2019.
When he died in 2019. Alex Isenstadt, I believe I'm saying his name correctly, over there at Axios reporting on Midas Touch Network about this new revelation that Dan Bongino, lieutenant, I guess deputy of the FBI, along with Kash Patel, the leader of the FBI, are now pushing forward. Do you guys remember before when they were talking about it? We're going to get to that in a second. But I just want to show you guys what Bongino and his forehead were talking about as they've completely changed their tune. This is the new information to them.
Okay, I got to check back on that one. There is more coming on the Epstein files. Listen, I know this is a hot potato for folks. I totally understand. My comments were clear. I'm not paid for my opinions anymore. I work for the taxpayer now. I'm paid on evidence. That's it. The evidence we have in our files clearly indicates that it was, in fact, a suicide. We do have video. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear. However, as I've clearly indicated in some of my tweets on my official account, listen, investigations, if new information surfaces in the future on any of these cases, we're always open. I'm just telling you, there's nothing there in the file at all that indicates anything other than, in fact, a suicide.
Let me ask you about...
Pause for a second. So there's nothing he sees right now. Dan Bongino's afraid. He's very afraid of saying anything that'll go outside of the bounds of what he's supposed to now say. I mean, you'll see this horrible video that we posted, horrible, stupid video that, I mean, you don't have to necessarily believe it, but this is what we're going to put out because we honestly don't care whether or not you believe it or not. We're involved in a cover up. Let's see what else Hannity had to ask him that had nothing to do with the reality.
And again, a lightning round. Let's go quickly. COVID origins. Are we going to find out information that the government...
Sorry. I didn't realize he was going to go to COVID origins there. But Dan Bongino want you to believe his grainy, horrible video that, I mean, isn't that great. Admittedly, it isn't that great, but what you understand is no one kind of went in or out or somewhat. And I should probably not be on TV talking about this because I'm making it much, much worse. Similar to the time that they did before, going on TV and talking about this. And they were sweating so bad about it because they're afraid, it seems like, for their lives. Watch these two very afraid people before trying to push this lie that they've now advanced on to act like there's nothing to be seen here at all.
You said Free Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I know it's hard work, but you promoted Stephen Jensen, the architect of the FBI's overzealous January 6th investigation.
He killed himself. Oh, and by the way, believe Kash Patel because he's seen these things before. Trust me, believe me, I've seen these things before. Now, on top of the no client list whatsoever, the client list that they've been talking about, the client list that they had in their possession, that they flashed around like it's this big golden suitcase that has all the information involved. We're just going to release that information. Suddenly, it just doesn't exist. It got even worse than that because Pam Bondi, remember this battle between the Department of Justice and the FBI, and someone's supposed to release the information. We're going to coordinate our efforts. We're going to redact the right information so that victims won't be exposed. Remember all that?
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
No.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you. The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey.
And journalists from Fox News can just say, okay, I guess you don't have any answers for my questions. A natural follow-up to what you may have seen in your possession that's sitting on your desk. Maybe someone should ask Pam Bondi what happened to that file and that folder that was on her desk that didn't exist. I guess that it didn't exist then, or maybe it didn't exist once someone told you that it's no longer exists. Because whatever exists in those files doesn't need to be existing anymore. Matter of fact, I remember James Comer said that I believe they're destroying files right now, right before they claim that all of the people that they hate are on this list. Why are they covering up Bill Clinton, the Bidens, the Hollywood folks? Why are they covering them all up? Why is the cover up happening under the Trump administration? I'm just curious because what last I heard, there was a huge cover up and it was a bunch of Republicans. They were talking about how Democrats are covering things up. I have a series of things that Pam Bondi, since we're talking Pam Bondi, that was on with Sean Hannity. I want you guys to listen to how she sold this as being this great administration is going to come in and clean things up. Her main purpose here was transparency. So as she promised, as I mentioned, this is in March, promised transparency. Take a look at your current situation here and the stories that they're telling about the Epstein client list not existing and if there's transparency. Check this out. This is Pandy.
Handed over a couple pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Kash is also, now that we have Kash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Kash is going to, Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
I'm looking for the detailed report from Kash, Director Patel, about why all those details have been withheld. Because they were withheld with the previous administration. It was apparently trying to cover something up because all these Democrats are on the list. By the way, I guarantee you Democrats are on the list. You know who I'm not looking to protect? Democrats that are on the list. Also not looking to protect Republicans that are on the list. The same way that apparently these folks are looking to protect both Democrats and Republicans that are on the list. Maybe donors that are on the list. Maybe really rich people that make these guys' lives worthwhile. Maybe it's those people on the list. Who knows? It doesn't exist. Matter of fact, Jeffrey Epstein never existed. Are you ready for that? Maybe that next change that'll come. This is still from that same appearance that Pam Bondi had, where she's talking about transparency and how much she's looking forward to revealing everything that previous administrations wouldn't reveal.
Because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure. And you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is going to get me and himself really a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase one over 254.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy how that works. She got a truckload of information. She said it, truckload of evidence. She said she gave them a deadline on analyzing and going through all of this evidence. The deadline apparently has come and gone, and that truckload is an invisible truckload. The truckload that dumped all that evidence on her desk is no longer evidence. I'm going to keep the lies flowing from her because she wants you to believe all this transparency as they hype up their own administration. It might, if you stop and think about it, I think they might be lying to you.
But you know what? I believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. You know, sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day. It's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know. Let's look through them as fast as we can, get it out to the American people, because the American people have a right to know, not only on that, but on Kennedy, on Martin Luther King, on all of these cases that the Biden administration has just sat on for all these years. So yeah, it's really, it's not sad, it's infuriating that these people thought that they could sit on this information, but they can't. It's a new day, and we believe in transparency, and it's going to come out.
Oh, is it still a new day? It's a brand new day. The Trump administration is here, and we're going to clean things up. No more cover-ups, all transparency all the time. The truckloads of information. This is nothing like the Biden administration days. We're going to expose the people for who they are, except for the fact that we're not doing any of that. When are they going to get upset? When are the folks going to finally get mad at the people who keep jerking them around and telling them that one thing is not happening when something else is? When are they going to get upset? Sorry, Elon Musk is trying to talk over me. Stop. When are they going to finally do something about this? I thought the pitchforks were ready. I thought they had an issue with human trafficking and children being used by these disgusting people in our world. Where's the transparency? As a matter of fact, they were lying to you the entire time. There's someone else that was lying to you about all this, and he keeps flipping on what it is that he thinks is reality and what you think is reality and what he'll tell you is your reality. It's Elon Musk. He's been back and forth on this one.
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman?
You know, I think part of
Kamala was getting all that support from a bunch of rich billionaires because those rich billionaires are all on the Epstein client list. The one that doesn't exist, by the way, and the same one that this Trump administration was going to release once he get into power. Of course, this is before the election. He's talking to lion-ass Tucker Carlson, who also had a spine for a second before then he didn't, before he kowtowed back to this administration again. Are you guys noticing it yet? There was a lot of speculation around it, but there was also a lot of talk about how disgusting and terrible the things that you're going to hear about are going to be. Disgusting, because they wanted your feelings involved and very upset about this, all up until the point when they said it doesn't exist. Here's Alina Habba. She worked on 34 of Trump's 34 felonies that he picked up while he was running for office. She had something to say about this too. It was all through this administration.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability. But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names.
She believes with these folks in charge, there's going to be accountability. There's no accountability. So where's the consequences for those actions not being fulfilled? Where is it? I say it all the time. I think I give the two examples of McDonald's or Subway. These are just basic fast food jobs. But if you don't do your job, you're effing fired. If you're stealing out of the cash register, you're fired. If you're giving away free 6-inch BLT subs to your homies, you're effing fired. But if you go and you run the country and you run on this line of you're going to expose all the criminals, the fraudsters, the rapists, and the child traffickers, human sex traffickers, that you're going to clean up this whole thing. Transparency, transparency, transparency. Nothing is going to be the same anymore. There's a new sheriff in town. All the other stupid cliche lines that they used, where are they now? They're not fired. Where are you with your pitchforks? Where are you with your Second Amendment rights, going after this fascist regime that's taken over your life and apparently coming after your children? Because once they get a hold of them, there's going to be no victim reports listed. There's going to be no client list of the people that were involved in this child sex trafficking ring that oddly, the current president of the United States was buddy-buddy with the guy who ran the whole thing. Are your ears pinging yet? Is there any suspicion involved? There's this guy named Jack Posobiec. I'm just going to show you generally what he's been saying on his Twitter about this. He's a conservative. He's always been about carrying the water for this MAGA administration and MAGA movement. And he was one of the big ones talking about this whole thing. This is generally what his Twitter is about lately. Of course, he's posting things about himself, but what he's upset about is the things that's going on with this, and actually none of the actual information coming out. He's finding issues. He's tweeting a lot lately. He must have had some videos. Earlier when I saw this, the guy was talking about the Epstein client list and how it's ridiculous, the things that aren't coming out. I think he feels like he's been betrayed. But he's still talking about the same MAGA talking points because they actually don't care. Man, he's been tweeting a lot lately. It's just the past couple hours since I saw this guy's page. But what he's upset about is no client list. No client list, no client list. When are you guys going to actually finally do something about this? Let me show you what else he was saying before that. When Jack Posobiec was carrying the water for not having anything to do with releasing this client list. Let's see if we can remember these guys in their faces when they said and did this. You guys remember that time that all these folks were standing out in front of whatever building they got this client list from? When they had information, there's the guy, the same guy who's upset and frustrated that this Epstein files list that they once said existed doesn't exist. What was in the file, bro? What I mean, you took a selfie with it. What was in that binder? What's in the 3-ring binder? Because they are looking to not release the information, but apparently they gave you phase 1 of it. What was in there? It was declassified information. Was this a photo op? Was this a political stunt? Is this kabuki theater? I mean, we can go through all the same cliched lines as well, too, about the lies that politicians and their political enablers pull off like this guy does. But now he's upset that he was a part of a system that apparently isn't going to do anything they said it would do. Isn't that odd? But now he's asking questions. He wants to know what's going on. What's going on is you took part in this huge cover-up. Cernovich also said similar stuff. No one is believing the Epstein cover-up, Donald Trump. This will be part of your legacy. There's still time to change it. Apparently not, because other things that was part of his legacy that MAGA folks were upset about are still a part of his legacy, destroying and dismantling people's lives, kicking people off of their Medicaid and Medicare, destroying agencies that actually save folks' lives. We just saw the flooding go down in Texas of agencies that they dismantled and defunded by the help of that same Elon Musk to make sure that your lives are disastrous, or maybe not even here. Because there's children that were at that camp that are no longer here as a direct result of this administration's policies that targeted their lives. What's the good thing about this administration? I mean, are you supportive of the deportations and the mass deportations and the militaristic nature of these guys in the streets with military fatigues on and helmets and long guns, pointing them at 80-year-old ladies that are walking down the street, or a 52-year-old gardener? This is crazy. You're supportive of that. But when they stick middle fingers in your faces regarding the things that they promised you, to go after these Democrats that are destroying your life, you've got nothing to say. It leaves me just to wonder, are you on the list, bro? They're not too upset about it anymore. Last part about this. I mentioned Elon Musk earlier. He's mad about it all over again. You want to see what he posted? He's on a rampage too. So now that they've done this again, this is that same meme that many people use with the clown makeup. We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time. The Epstein list is on my desk. Someone said that. It was Pam Bondi, who's a part of this Trump administration that Elon Musk helped facilitate. And lastly, there is no Epstein list. That's what they're all now saying. Elon Musk is upset. Elon Musk is letting everyone know that he doesn't trust the word of this administration anymore. This is after he also said that Donald Trump is on that client list before he took it back like a chump. Actually, you know what? In case you missed that, let me show you that too. He goes, time to drop a really big bomb. Sorry, this isn't opening yet. Hold. He dropped that pretty big bomb back a month or so ago when he was fighting with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on the Epstein list. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And then went on to say, mark this post for the future because the truth will come out. Yo, it's the future since then. We've marked that post that has since been deleted about the truth still not coming out. But Elon Musk apologized for doing that as well. Is there going to become a point when they just stop trusting these folks? Because anybody who's still gullible enough to think that anything that they're doing or saying is based in any kind of reality will continue to get your life dismantled until it's not here anymore. But other folks that are on board and maybe making some kind of money or advancement out of this, they don't care. They're part of the problem. There just has to be a point when people believe what they're showing you. And if they're willing to openly show you this blatantly, even to the point where Dan Bongino said, I'm releasing really bad video that you probably shouldn't believe, but I'm going to release it anyway, it means they don't care what you think. And once they don't care what you think or what you can do about it, whatever it is that you decide to do about it, they're ready to stomp out. It's almost like an authoritative regime. It's almost like they're fascists that we're not supposed to call them. I'm tired. But, you know, that's the Epstein list that doesn't exist. I'm going to jump off here, you guys. I've been on for another 20 minutes. I got to release some of these videos to the public as well. Glad you guys are here for the live. Really fast, though. Daniel Sanchez, thank you for the super chat. He says, strike for our rights. Organize. General strike now. it seems like it'd be easier to organize things like this considering the level of communication that's involved. There's just such a desperation and enough lying that's going on to not allow enough people to be a part of that. I would hope for it as well too. I'm not good with organizing and getting in the streets for the organization of strikes, but there's definitely one of those things where the spread of information and knowledge and understanding what it is people are showing you should be able to lead you through the right corridors of your life to see which way to go. And again, man, these folks that we just lost over the weekend down in Texas, which I know we've lost folks all over the country, but the direct result of this administration's policies is what's got people's lives lost. And it's going to continue on. People quoting 1984 as well. Abby Normal, good to see you. Says Haba's not disbarred yet. No, Alina Haba's like got some kind of promotion. It's crazy. Like the worst people around him, the biggest liars, get the biggest promotions. This is the standard that they're now setting for the country. If you're a liar, you get advancement. If you live normal and you believe in the whole thing that they pitched and sold you with this American dream, you die. It sounds crazy though, right? Except the problem is that people are dying. So it can't sound crazy when it's happening. Can it? Pitchforks Dragon, good to see you guys. Christina Elisa Brown, man, you have not left. Good to see you. Thank you for not leaving. But I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and go in case you guys are coming back over to watch a little bit more of Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. He's always talking about all the action of the day. Luck Dragon, no, Mama Dragon. I'm not sure if she's still around. I'm sorry, not Mama Dragon, Mama Jackson. Maybe she'll pop in. Or maybe she's got other things happening by now. But I'm glad you guys are here. Moonwalker, thank you. Say have a nice rest of my day. I will try. Also, the rest of you guys chat. Have a good rest of your day. I got to do some editing and release all these videos. Thank you guys for being here again. I'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern, another watch party. I'll try not to be late. It all depends on how many disastrous things are happening right now that I'm going to have to talk about tomorrow. As usual, find me over on Instagram. Find me on the rest of them. Also, JR Rated is also here on the YouTubes. I got to get back to adding more to that. I always have things happening that I'm creating for that. It's just literally the number of things that are going on in this country right now have taken up my whole life and my brain. But we'll see you guys next time. See you guys tomorrow morning for you guys on the West Coast, midday for you guys on the East. See yous.